Hi, I'm Yaku.
And I'm Mark.
And welcome back to the second episode of On the Page, the show where we break down the writing process from our recent short films and show you the scripts. So today we will be covering our short film, Surface Tension. So if you haven't seen it yet, you should go click up here, go watch it. It's cool. We'll wait for you. Don't worry. Just press pause. We'll be right here when you get back. Oh, it's been 8 minutes and 43 seconds already? Welcome back. So today we will be talking about structure and how to structure your film. So let's get into it. So first things first, let's understand what structure is. If you're just starting out, it might be a little bit overwhelming here and there, but it really doesn't have to be. In the most basic terms, it just means there's a beginning, middle, and end. It also depends heavily on the length of the story that you're trying to create. What works really well for a feature film might be a nightmare for a short film. If your outline is longer than your script, there may be a problem.
Okay, so the most basic sort of form of structure that you'll see in any sort of script is what's known as the 3-act structure, which is basically Act 1, setup, Act 2, confrontation, and Act 3, resolution. There's the most common approach or pattern that makes up a story, which is the hero's journey, or the monomyth by Joseph Campbell. You've heard it before, a character's in their normal world, but then there's a call to adventure, and then they refuse the call, and then they cross the threshold, yay! If you want to find out more about all of that, because we're not going to go into sort of that much detail, we really want to start you off on structure, is you can check it out in all the links that we're providing below. So if that's a little bit overwhelming, a more sort of practical approach to the hero's journey is Dan Harmon's story circle. He's taken the hero's journey and approach to 3-act structure, and he's really distilled it down to the necessities of what you need to think about when you're breaking a story. He divides it up into 8 sections, which is a character is in a zone of comfort, but they want something. They enter an unfamiliar situation, adapt to it, get what they wanted, pay a heavy price, then return to their familiar situation, having changed. If you want to find out more about Dan Harmon's story circle, check out in the links below that we provided for you here. Paring it down even further there's a really good quote by the novelist Vladimir Nabokov, where he said, "The writer's job is to get a character up a tree, and once they're up there, throw rocks at them." So basically, Act 1, get character up a tree. Act 2, throw rocks at them. Act 3, get them down again. Another circle, clock, there's something happening here with circles and stories, you can go check it out, is Seth Worley's story clock. And what this really helps you with is plotting out story symmetry. So for example, what we're going to get into later is you have the inciting incident that starts it all off, and then on the other side of the circle, there's another event symmetrical to that. It's really good to help you pace out your beats and to find out where beats might be missing, something that you need to set up here and you need to pay off there. Check it out. We've got links for that also down below. He's a great, he tells us how to do right and stuff, Not like I can speak, but hopefully I can write better than I can speak. Moving on.
So something that we've found that works really well for us is the 5-beat structure. So we've gone as simple with this as applying it to an entire film, but we've also gone as detailed with this as to apply to every single scene in a script, especially when we're writing longer form scripts such as features. Okay, future Yaku, just jumping in quick. So the terminology that we're going to apply was taught to us at AFDA Film School. It's similar to the McKinsey Situation-Complication-Resolution or SCR framework. There's a link in the description if you want to go read all about that. The explanations for the terminology can be derived from the book Directing, Film Techniques and Aesthetics by Michael Rabiger, as well as Story, Substance, Structure, Style, and the Principles of Screenwriting by Robert McKee. So when we're writing longer form stuff, we sometimes use other structures to plot out the whole. For example, the story map that No Film School posted a little while ago, also linked down below. But we always come back to the 5-beat structure, always. It's like the fractal theory. Every individual part reflects the whole. So if you're curious about what the 5 beats are, Let me tell you. So the first one is proposition. This is all about setting up context. So if it's on the macro level, who are your characters? Where do they live? What is a normal day in their life like? If it's for a scene, then what is the context for whatever's going to happen next? The second one is opposition. What happens to your main character that sets him or her on their journey through the film? This is also where the inciting incident would happen.
A good thing to note about inciting incidents is, you have a good inciting incident when it can only happen now. It couldn't have happened yesterday. It couldn't have happened 2 weeks ago. It needs to be something that the character needs to address. They can't run away from. They can't just, oh, there's a spooky thing, let's just leave the house. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. It needs to be urgent. It needs to be happening now. It needs to upend their normal world in the proposition. In the case of a scene, it's the linchpin or the beginning of the conflict that happens in the scene.
That brings us to the third beat, which is escalation. This is where the action really starts to rise. We follow the main characters' trials and tribulations as they try to solve the main problem.
So this would be a part of Act 2. This is really the meat and the potatoes of most of the conflict of the film. And at the center point, or the midpoint, you have a sort of turn in the story. It'll be where there'll be a sort of twist, you can call it, but I think that the word twist is often not the right term, because it doesn't have to be it is a reversal, but what is a reversal in the context of your specific story? It'll be something different to another story. A reversal might mean something different for your character versus another. So you need to not really take these terms and sort of slot things in of what you think would be a good one. It's what is the best one for your character, what is the best one for the conflict that they're going through in the story. A character will be facing their trials and tribulations, and they'll be reaching the midpoint, and then after this reversal, they'll be plunged lower than they have before reaching the
complication. This is an event which is an exacerbation of the opposition. A new event occurs that literally complicates the conflict, which brings us to the resolution and the revelation. The resulting aftermath of the conflict, or a new thing that has been revealed to the character. So this is how we would explain it so that you can apply it to the whole or to your scenes individually.
First one to come up for air has spent the night in the pool. Loser.
Okay, so proposition for surface tension. We start off with two brothers. We establish the sibling rivalry that they have, and they hold a breath-holding competition, and our main character loses this competition. This is also where we establish Alex's flaw. He enters the breath-holding competition too cocky, and when he loses, it damages his pride, what we're going to be dealing with in this film.
What are you doing?
Getting out?
No. You lost, remember?
That was just like brotherly jokes, like water under the bridge. Nope. Here are the caveats to our negotiation.
So the opposition of surface tension is when Alex tries to leave the pool, but no, he lost, remember? Gary was serious about the game, and now Alex has to stay in the pool until the break of dawn. It's not just the opposition to encountering the inciting incident, it's also the refusal of the call when Alex tries to bargain.
Oh, dude, get out. We have to go to Monica's 21st thing, remember?
You're just saying that because as soon as I step out, you're going to be like, how you lose.
Dude, stop with the petty game. We have to go. Let's go.
Then moving to the escalation. The game is over. They've got obligations other than their silly game. And then we move to a very important beat. Alex decides to stay in the pool himself. This is important. The character is making a decision. Otherwise the film will be someone having to live out this cool punishment, and it's not really a good story. He makes this decision himself, and in doing so, we are in turn setting up the meaning of the revelation later on. He ain't falling for any of those tricks. He ain't no chump. He's staying in the pool. His pride knows no bounds.
So things start getting complicated. Get it? Things start getting complicated when he hears the sound of breaking glass and dogs barking. Things are starting to get a little bit more dangerous now. More sort of life and death. But we play it off in a comedic way when he just hides underwater knowing that that's not going to do anything. Plus, how long is he going to hold his breath anyway? We've established that he sucks at that. But then also when he runs out of food and he considers eating a worm. I mean, he's not Bear Grylls. Like, this guy is a suburban dude. He's literally in his parents' backyard. He was eating like KFC and Kit Kats. Will he survive? Will he get out of the pool? You know, these are the types of things that we're trying to bring to the surface.
Dude, you seriously won't believe what happened.
Enjoy Granny's Veruca, fool.
But one of the people singing the loudest was the one and only Dale Schnettler. Yeah, I didn't know he was either, until Monica's brother's roommate's cousin's friend told me that he is the drummer from Prime Circle. Yeah, and dude, after we hung out with Dale Schnettler, he invited us to go see Prime Circle live. VIP tickets, all access. We got to meet the band.
And now we move on to the revelation. Is Alex dead? No, he's not. But what he has done, because of his pride and silliness, he's missed out on the best night ever, which is revealed. Revelation. Get it? This can also be a resolution. Something doesn't always have to be revealed at the end. It can just be the result of the conflict. Or resolution. No? Okay. Another good tidbit when considering structure is obviously looking at conflict. And a very good thing to keep in your head when you're thinking about conflict is intention and obstacle, which is something that the screenwriter Aaron Sorkin really emphasizes in every consideration of his writing. Intention and obstacle. What's the character's intention here and what's standing in their way? The character wants something, but what's standing in their way has to be formidable. Another good note to make when you're thinking about structure and plotting out your story is but and therefore. This is highlighted really well by Matt Stone and Trey Parker, the creators of South Park, both brilliant writers. And what they always say is that you can't just have an event, this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens. That's just a collection of things happening. A story is this happens, but then this happens, therefore this happens, but this happens. And you can see how that's more organic and creates a good ebb and flow of a dramatic structure.
A good way to think of short forms is kind of like stand-up comedians when they're performing. What is the structure of a joke? Setup and punchline. This is very similar to how surface tension is structured. He spends the whole night in the pool, preserving his pride, but then he misses out on the best night ever. Setup and punchline.
And with our short film Justine case, Justine moves into a new apartment and wants to arrange all of her DVDs, ends up getting into a conflict with her mom about the organization of those DVDs, but all of the DVDs are in their wrong cases. And with the other short film, Public Engagement, the setup is supposedly an amazing romantic proposal live on air, where she says yes and everything's perfect, but actually no. Setup, punchline. A lot of our shorts are comedies, but we wanted to make the note here that the setup and punchline of a short film doesn't necessarily only apply to comedy.
So that's it for the second episode of On the Page. If you learned something, please let us know in the comments, or if you have any questions, post them down there as well. We'll try our best to get to all of them.
If you made it to the end of the video, but you're not subscribed, just do it. Just it's free. Just hit the subscribe. It's free. Do it. We release new videos every Tuesday and Friday with a new short film on the first Friday of every month. And until next time, stay inside,
Make your movie.